Welcome to our podcast, The Words That Make Us.
Consider this time with us as your excuse to take a break from everything.
Every episode, we choose a word that makes us think, wonder, or dream. We read a range of texts that explore different aspects of this word.
And we let our thoughts wander. We hope that yours will too. So grab your favourite tea.
Or a beer.
And join me, Rama
And me, Tony Bailey. Let's go!
So today's episode is about cats.
Meow.
Okay, that was terrible. I can tell you're not a cat person.
Don't ever ask me to do that again. I want to be taken seriously as a performer, and now I get to do cat impressions on our podcast.
I know.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So you're a cat person, aren't you, Rama?
So I'm not really a cat person. I am not an animal person at all. So cats I tolerate. Sometimes I might like, but I don't like any other animals. So, I mean, I like wild animals, but I don't like pets.
Yeah.
And so that's, if you want to consider me a cat person, go on.
You have a cat, don't you?
I do have a cat.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a cat, and I must say, when the cat was seriously injured at the beginning of this year, I took it to the vet and I cried my eyes out just to see how much this wild, lively cat that was everywhere was almost dying. And the vet told me that, and I burst out in tears, and I could not stop crying. Also, mainly because I was really worried about what my kids will do. Because my kids, I swear, I think if I told them I'm leaving, they'll be like, oh, wait, okay. But if I say the cat is leaving, they'll be like, no, we won't survive.
Gosh, it's amazing. 'Cause that level of sort of crying and whatever, I've never ever done that over anything in my whole life. Maybe when Manchester United lost a game.
Okay.
Don't
they lose every game?
Oh, yeah, okay. That's why I don't cry anymore. Meow. I'll just stick to the impressions. Yeah.
At least.
So, how have cats impacted your life then? Have you had cats all the way through your life?
No.
Or
I only had cats when the kids were born, and this cat that we have, I only grew.
They actually, when the kids were born, cats came out as well.
My God, no,
so
not
it's
out of me.
More of a litter.
No. Well, the kids were already there, and we got them a cat. And the only reason why I actually love this cat is because we got him as a really tiny kitten. He was really tiny. He was like 8 weeks old, and he was so little. He would like crawl up my back when I was cooking. One day he hid in somebody's handbag when they were visiting me. He was just the most adorable thing. He would just go meow, meow. It's like the cutest thing ever. Now he's not that cute, especially when he wakes me up at 4 a.m. or 5:30 in the morning demanding food. Not cute.
Yeah. As listeners might be able to tell, I am a lover of all animals in God's kingdom,
except for
cats. And I like the cat world. I like the big cats, a puma or a cheetah or a leopard or something. But domestic cats, I really am not a fan. Okay, really not a fan.
Did you have a bad experience
with a cat?
Yeah, maybe as a child you were bitten. Or something.
No, my parents would never have had a child. They'd never have had a cat. Or a child. No.
Or a child. They didn't want you, but here you are.
They tried to get rid of me to the cat's home, but they wouldn't take it. No, we had dogs. My parents were dog people. I'm not even a big fan of dogs, as you know, but dogs slightly up the scale to cats. Okay. But I have had 2 different cats twice in the life of my children. So when Joe, my eldest son, was a little boy, he had a cat for his birthday.
Okay.
It was a black cat, and we called him Nelson because he was he was given to us, so he was our free Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, which was quite funny. Anyway, he tried to attack the next door's rabbit, and the rabbit won, so that killed the rabbit. Killed the cat.
Oh, wow.
And then when the kids were a little bit older, we had a pair of what outsiders deemed to be a beautiful pair of Siamese cats, Boz and Woody. But I had a real problem with them because they just trashed my house.
Okay.
Ripping the carpets, the curtains.
Oh,
no. They were, didn't like them.
So I must admit that my cat does nothing of the sort. He's really, really good. The only thing that I really hate is when he wakes me up really early in the morning.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that he brings mice just to toy with them, and then he leaves them for me to pick up.
Yeah.
So that I really hate. He's supposed to be defending me against mice, but actually he brings
them as a present.
Yes.
Yeah. That's lovely. Can I read you a fun poem?
Go on then.
Because when we said we were going to do an episode on cats, I was at bedtime with Georgie reading her fun poetry book.
Okay.
And there was one about cats in it. I thought, I've got to bring
perfect.
that with me. And you might recognise it. It's called Quick Quick. Anonymous, don't know who wrote it. It's like a children's poem. Quick, quick, the cat's been sick. Where? Under the chair. Hasten, hasten, fetch the basin. Alack, alack, it is too late. The carpet's in an awful state. No, it's all in vain, for she has licked it up again. And that really sums it up for me.
Yeah. Every now and then my cat does something of the sort, and I'm like, just why?
Yeah.
Why? And of course, the kids adore him, but who has to do all the dirty work?
Oh, you do.
Of course, me.
We now have 3 little gerbils.
Oh, no.
So they are a lot more manageable and a lot more sociable actually than cats.
What? No.
But I do have to do all of the housekeeping and cleaning and stuff.
I could not have a rodent in my house. I'm sorry. No.
But you could have a cat. See, I find that really weird.
Yeah. That's how people are so different.
Why do people have cats then? What's the attraction?
I did some research on the physical benefits like having a cat can have on people.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read it to you, and then we'll put the article in the show notes.
Yeah.
It says here, in one study, researchers followed 4,435 people for 13 years. People who had owned cats in the past were less likely to die from a heart attack during that time than people who had never owned cats, even when accounting for other risk factors like blood pressure, cholesterol, smoking, and body mass index. This was true of people even if they didn't have cats currently, the researchers explain, which suggests that cats are more like preventative medicine than treatment for an ongoing disease. Okay. In another study, James Sepro of the University of Pennsylvania followed 24 people who had just gotten a cat. They completed surveys within a day or two of bringing their cat home, and then several times over the next 10 months. At the 1 month mark, people had reduced health complaints like headaches, back pain, and colds, although on average those benefits seemed to fade as time went on. As Serpo speculates, it's possible that people who form a good relationship with their cat continue to see benefits, and people who don't.
Yeah.
And that's the physical thing. There is another one that I'm not going to read, but it's about managing stress and how they gave people stressful tasks to do, like putting their hand in really cold water or I don't know. And those who had cats managed stress better
than people who didn't.
Who did not have cats.
What about people who've got dogs?
I don't know. This was only for cats.
Because I see that, and I honestly, I'm not making a judgment. And people who have cats and have a lovely relationship with their cat, and they curl up for the evening with their cat, and they feed their cat lovely stinky cat food and whatever, and happily empty the litter tray and all these things that go with having a cat. I get it, and I can understand why you do it. But I often feel that people who have a cat and have that kind of relationship, it's filling a gap or filling a need that maybe is missing in their life. And so is it a replacement for the small child? Is it something about companionship, replacing companionship? It's kind of strange. I
mean, it could be, but there are people who like to take care of people. There are people who are by nature caregivers, and they need to be taking care of someone or something. But also it's the company, because cats are great company. They're not very demanding. They'll come to you for a cuddle or so, and then they'll go. You don't. And also, don't tell my neighbours, but my cat doesn't use the litter box.
Yeah.
He just goes in their gardens. So
Well, that was always something that I disliked when I had a house with a garden.
yeah.
When next door's cat would come over the fence to have a poo in our garden, or to kill birds in
Whatever
our garden,
birds were
or
singing
whatever.
for you.
Yeah. Apparently, it's official that cat people are neurotic and needy, according to real science.
You didn't make that
scientific
up.
study. No, it's what I thought, but it's backed up by some research, and it was in the Daily Mail, so it must be true. Yeah. Study says that neurotic parents take better care of their pets, with cat people said to be more anxious and dog people being described as more extroverted. This is a study by the University of California, Berkeley, and published in the journal Applied Animal Welfare Science, conducting a web-based survey of 1,000 pet owners, categorising themselves as cat people, dog people, neither or both, and a number of character traits came out of that. Dog owners are more extroverted than cat owners, but less open to new experiences. Cat owners tend to be more neurotic, but also more creative and adventurous. So the fact that higher levels of neuroticism are associated with affection and anxious attachment suggests that people who score higher on that dimension may have high levels of affection and dependence on their pets. Which is a good thing.
That makes sense.
For the pets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was the first major US study to incorporate attachment theory, the bond between parents and children, but applying it to animals. Yeah.
But for me, there are two reasons why I opted for a cat and not for a dog. The first one is cats are very easy. You don't have to take them for walks. They are very, very independent, like me.
Yeah.
They just give you a little bit of love and then they go. And I must say, our cat is like a dog, I swear. Soon as we come home.
Do they give you a bit of love?
Oh my gosh.
Do you think?
As soon as he hears our engine roaring, he jumps out and puts himself on the floor and he gives you his belly. And on the middle of the street, you have to give him a pet because he's starving for love. And he sleeps with the kids in bed and he's really, really loving, I must say. And the other reason why I have cats is because they're clean. Dogs drool everywhere. They sniff each other's butts. They do things that are not very hygienic.
Yeah, I guess. I'm trying my best to be. I'm not getting a cat as a result of this episode.
I know. I never came here thinking that I could sway you.
How much money do people spend on cats and dogs? How much do you spend a year on your cat?
I don't know. It's a lot of money.
Just think of what you could do with that money if you didn't have a cat.
Yeah. I mean, taking him to the vet alone, especially in case of an emergency, is that broke the bank.
Yeah.
But, getting him food. He eats like you wouldn't believe, more than all of us combined. It's expensive, but I've never actually sat down to think about how much.
So the average annual expenditure on cats in the USA is $687 a year. $687
per household.
Per cat.
Per cat, okay.
Yeah. The Battersea Cats Home or Dogs Home, giving advice on owning a cat, says that in total, this is in the UK, they reckoned around £1,587 a year if you put in all of the things like going to the vet and if you have cat insurance and those kind of things. It really does rack up. And things like pet food, because now there's the tendency towards feeding your cat with much better organic stuff. Then of course the cost of cat food is
it's a really big market.
We're spending as much on the cat as on your children, probably.
Yeah, something like that. Yes,
amazing.
And my cat is very, very picky when it comes to food. He needs wet food 3 or 4 times a day, and it has to be a certain brand.
Yeah.
And I must admit, this brand is Nestle, and I am a Nestle enemy.
Yeah,
I boycott Nestle. My
children
are not allowed to have anything from Nestle.
Yeah.
Only the cat is allowed.
Yeah. Is it time to do some reading?
Let's do a reading.
Because one thing that is true about cats is they do feature a lot in literature.
Yes.
I was amazed how, someone like Shakespeare, for example, or any of the classic authors, how frequently cats appear, and how frequently cats appear in children's fairy tales, a bit like we were talking about last time. It's incredible, really.
Yeah, because they have a lot of personality. They're almost like human beings. That's why. I promise they are so versatile and so. I don't know if I would get another one if anything happened to this one, but I must admit they have so much personality.
Yes.
Anyway.
Maybe.
Read to us.
No, you read. You go first. What? Sell me the cat in the form of a poem about a cat.
Okay, that's a bit sad because the 2 poems, actually 3 poems that I have for you, are not going to sell you the cat.
No, you're going to put me off even more.
I took a sarcastic approach.
Okay.
But anyway, so this is a poem that I really like. It's called The Galloping Cat by Stevie Smith.
Okay.
I am a cat that likes to gallop about doing good. So one day, when I was galloping about doing good, I saw a figure in the path. I said, "Get off," because I'm a cat that likes to gallop about doing good. But he did not move. Instead, he raised his hand as if to land me a cuff. So I made to dodge so as to prevent him wringing it off. Unfortunately, I slid on a banana skin. Some ass had left instead of putting it in the bin. So his hand caught me on the cheek. I tried to lay his arm open from wrist to elbow with my sharp teeth because I am a cat that likes to gallop about doing good. Would you believe it? He wasn't there. My teeth met nothing but air. But a voice said, "Poor cat," meaning me, and a soft stroke came on my head. Since when I have been bold? I regard myself as a martyr to doing good. Also, I heard a swoosh as of wings, and saw a halo shining at the height of Mrs. Gubbins' backyard fence. So I thought, what's the good of galloping about doing good when angels stand in the path and do not do as they should, such as having an arm to be bitten off? All the same, I intend to go on being a cat that likes to gallop about doing good. So now with my bald head I go, chopping the untidy flowers down to and fro, and scooping up the grass to show underneath the cinder path of wrath. Ha ha, ha ha, ho. Angels aren't the only ones who do not know what's what, and that galloping about doing good is a full-time job that needs an experienced eye of earthly sharpness, worth, I dare say, if you'll forgive a personal note, a good deal more than all that skyey stuff of angels that make so bold as to pity a cat like me that gallops about doing good.
Wow. You get the distinct impression from that poem that the person who wrote it loves cats, or at least loves her cat.
Loves her cat, but also acknowledges that cats are so cheeky and so mean sometimes,
yes.
And they're so entitled.
They are. I think if you know your cat's personality really well, then you probably put up with it, and you probably like it. But yeah, cats, intrinsically they are, they're the most stoic of animals.
They are.
That is definitely true. They're definitely focused on the here and now for them, and not for any other
selfish,
people.
Yeah.
They don't care what anybody else thinks. They just do what they believe is best for themselves, and they are ultimately possibly the most selfish of animals, don't you think?
Could be.
I mean, I sort of feel with a dog that their affection towards you is genuine.
It is.
I mean, they genuinely do love their owners, and they do follow their owner around. I read about a study of cats and dogs. So dogs will respond to their owner's voice. In fact, they'll respond to their owner's car.
My cat does too.
Well, this
I promise
study
you.
showed that for dogs, given a choice of 4 voices coming through the door or whatever, they will always respond in a really positive and excited manner towards the voice that they recognise, and they will actually get up from where they are and go to the door to meet the owner for that one voice.
Yeah.
Cats, they had same thing, voices saying the cat's name. And at very best, when their name was said, they didn't distinguish between any of the voices, but they recognised the fact it was their name. And so there was some acknowledgement that their name was being called, but none of them got up, and they all carried on doing what they were doing.
Okay.
That's cats for me.
I think the person who did this study is biased because, people who do studies are not angels.
No, this is probably very, very strict science.
No, absolutely not. Because I tell you, one time we were away for a few days and the person who was feeding our cat was like, your cat has not been home and has not been eating and I'm really worried. And we got really worried. And I was like, okay, as soon as we get home, we have to put these posters up looking for a cat and stuff. I tell you, as soon as our engine roared outside the door, he jumped out of I don't know where. He was right there and he was famished. Yeah. So we opened the door, he went in and ate, but he had refused to eat while we were not there. Yeah. And when we call him, as I'm telling you, as soon as he hears the car, he jumps out on the street and waits to be petted. Yeah. And that's every day.
It could be the same with dogs, but there's two ways of looking at it. One is, it's so attached to you that your cat was really upset that you'd gone away and sort of decided to go and find a quiet corner to brood. Or your cat was really disgusted with you that you'd gone away.
How dare we?
And was like, I refuse to be fed by anybody else. Those are the people that feed me. So,
You still insist on making them sound more entitled than they are.
I think they are quite entitled.
They are.
I don't really know of any other. I mean, I've kept other animals. I've had chickens.
Yeah.
They were not entitled. They were charming. Have a chicken any day compared to a to a cat. Yeah.
Nah, I need personality. I have personality. I need the people in my house to have one.
Which country in the world are there the most pet domestic cats? Which is the biggest cat country in terms of domestic cat ownership?
So I also looked that up. So I'm sorry, I do have the answer already.
Well, let's see if it's the same as mine.
Is it the USA?
It is. The interesting thing there, though, is that you would expect... I thought China would be bigger than the United States.
I was going to make a joke here, but I'm not sure if it's appropriate.
Yeah, is that because they've eaten them all? No, is that what you're going to say? You can't say that. But I just did. I could tell you am I allowed to tell a really black story? True. Yeah. A true story about a cat that happened to me in my life. Okay. I'm going to do this now, just to note to people listening that this might be edited out. If it's deemed not suitable. And also,
trigger warning for anybody who loves cats. I don't know what the story is, but just in case.
Trigger warning if you don't like cats. So
if you love cats.
Trigger warning. This is something well worth listening to if you don't like cats.
Okay.
So my next door neighbour, when I lived in the UK, Hertfordshire, and their cat was a real pain in the backside. And so there was a little bit of conflict with my neighbour because the cat kept on coming and doing business in my garden, leaving dead animals all over the place, sometimes coming into our house when, I'm not happy about it. Yeah. And I went around a few times and said, look, I know you can't do anything about it, but it's becoming a real nuisance. Okay. And it's not nice when your cat throws up all over our patio. Anyway, it was the winter time and it was really, really cold. And their cat used to often come and snuggle itself into the doorway of our house and whatever. Anyway, I came home from work.
You did not kick the cat?
No, I did not. The cat was lying on the doorstep and it was dead.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was absolutely frozen solid.
Oh, it's your cat.
So picture the scene. This would be great for a black comedy. But I went round and I rang on the doorbell and I had this cat.
No, you didn't carry this.
And I said, I found your cat. Unfortunately, it's died. And I literally had its foot in my hand and I held out this frozen cat.
Terrible.
And the guy said, oh, thanks very much. Took it inside. I felt really bad. No, I didn't feel that bad.
Okay.
But
you were
almost
relieved.
All animals die, don't they?
Yeah, I think, and that's one of the issues, is that's one of my biggest worries when it comes to raising my children. They would be devastated if anything happened to that cat. Like, honestly, I dread the day, because only when they heard that the cat was at the vet's and that it was in serious danger, they both broke down crying, and it broke my heart. And so,
I mean, even though I've obviously been very negative about cats, but I do see the importance of having pets when
Something to
when you
care
have
for,
children,
yeah.
because it does give them that idea about their responsibilities, and also they have to come to terms with illness and death.
Yeah.
So
it could be a positive thing, preparing them for loss by starting
I
with
think
an animal.
my 2 older kids were both really upset when our 2 Siamese died,
Cat dies.
and I'm sure that little Georgie will be upset when any of her
Gerbils.
Gosh, they are living a lot longer than I expected. But anyway, there'll be a very sad day when they mysteriously disappear in the middle of the night. So anyway, back. The United States, yes, is number 1, and China is second.
Yeah.
I thought China would be.
I mean, given the sheer number of Chinese people, you would think that there would be a lot more cats.
Maybe it's to do with this number that I've got is just looking at homed pet domestic cats, and I wonder whether in China there are a lot more
stray cats.
feral or stray cats. Third in the table is Russia, 23 million cats. And then 4th, honourable mention to Germany.
Yay!
Gosh, 15.2 million cats here in Germany.
I mean, people do love
crazy.
their cats here, and their dogs, actually. They are definitely pet people.
They are. I don't think having a cat fits with the apartment culture, living in a flat. I don't think having any...
I think some people have them inside, yeah.
Oh, they do, yeah. And dogs as well. Some people have ridiculously sized dogs in apartments,
in an
don't they?
apartment, okay.
That seems, not so good. Yes. So that's interesting.
What about, have you taken a look at idioms and things that have cats in them?
Yes.
Because we have a lot of them in Arabic.
Okay, so I find that cats in literature, are used as imagery all over the place.
Yeah.
So, like you said, clearly humans have a fascination with the cat psyche, and there are loads and loads and loads of cat phrases. Let's see how many we can do. Having a cat nap. Look what the cat dragged in. A cat may look at a king. All cats are grey in the dark. Cat burglars. Copycat, scaredy cat. As conceited as a barber's cat. I like this one. As nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Have you heard that before?
No.
There's no room to swing a cat in here. Busier than a 3-legged cat in a dry sandbox.
Oh, wow.
Hectic to the point of being frantic. Yeah, cool cat. Cat's cradle. Cat's meow. Curiosity killed the cat. Raining cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Dog my cats. Enough to make a cat laugh. Fat cats. Fighting like cats and dogs. Grinning like a Cheshire cat. Has the cat got your tongue?
Yeah.
Is another one. Hellcats. High as the hair on a cat's back. Busier than a one-eyed cat watching 2 mouse holes.
Wow.
Letting the cat out of the bag. Like a cat on a hot tin roof. Like herding cats. It's a bit like juggling frogs. Herding cats. Looks like the cat got the cream. Wow. Another one.
Yeah.
Looking like the cat that swallowed the canary.
Goodness me.
I've heard all of these, actually.
Yeah.
A cat in gloves catches no mice.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. To bell a cat. Don't know what that is. While the cat's away, the mice will play.
I have that one in Arabic.
Keep no more cats than will catch mice. Playing cat and mouse. Calm as a cat. Pussyfooting. The cat's pyjamas. More than one way to skin a cat. I like that one. Having the morals of an alley cat. Having kittens. I'm having kittens about tomorrow or this podcast. Yeah. To make a cat laugh, we said putting the cat amongst the pigeons.
Oh.
Turning the cat in the pan. She's the cat's mum or cat's mother. A dead cat bounce.
Wow.
That's a term in economics where the financial market has a dead cat bounce. So it goes to the bottom.
A last involuntary.
Bounces back up a little bit
Yeah.
and then goes back down again. It's called a dead cat's bounce.
Cool.
Seeing which way the cat jumps. Walking like a cat on eggs. Wanton kittens make sober cats. Being weak as a kitten. And not having a cat in hell's chance. So there were 50.
That's crazy.
50 idioms in the English language. And I would say of those 50, I've probably used 40 to 45 of those at some stage.
Can you read the second or the third one?
So right at the beginning, look what the cat dragged in.
I know that one.
A cat may look at a king.
Oh, what? Yeah, that's the one.
So this is where a cat always believes it's superior to everybody. Yeah. So it's basically saying somebody of low social standings has the right to do whatever they like, sort of thing, in the way that a cat can look at whoever it likes. This originates back to English in the 1500s. The cat may look at a king.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at Arabic proverbs using English, so I'm English using cats, but I'm not sure if there must be much more. The ones I found are the same one, like the cat is away, the mouse can play.
But don't you think that's interesting that the same idiom comes out of both cultures?
Yeah. And I wonder which one stole it from the other.
Do you think that was it, or did both cultures make the same observation of?
Yeah, the cat. Now the weak can do something because the ones in authority are not there.
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
Yeah. The next one is the cat stole your dinner. This person, no. This is an interesting one because it's like, oh, this poor guy, the cat steals his dinner. So that's how placid this person is. Even a cat can steal his dinner.
He won't even fight back against
exactly.
that.
And just like a cat, eats and forgets.
Yeah.
So if this is someone who's ungrateful. And the interesting thing is that cats in the Arabic culture have 7 lives and not 9.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. So these are the ones that I have, actually. That I don't think there are many more.
Does the cat appear much in your culture or any of the religious text?
I looked up in the Quran. I didn't find anything about cats in the Quran, but it's interesting because in the life of Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, they do appear quite a few times. And so Muhammad's best friend, he called him Abu Huraira. Actually, in Islam, nobody knows his real name. They call him Abu Huraira, which means the father of the kitten, because this guy was in love with a cat and he took the cat everywhere, and then he playfully called him the father of the kitten. Apparently, Prophet Muhammad once went in to get his robe to go out and give a sermon, but the cat was curled up on the sleeve of the robe, so he couldn't wake up the cat, and so he cut off the sleeve and took the robe without the sleeve just because the cat was sleeping on it. So that's really cute. And then there's a really famous hadith, which is something that Muhammad said. He said, a pious woman went to hell because of a cat, because she neither fed the cat nor let the cat go out and do its thing. And so it's just showing that, cruelty to animals is something that can land you in hell no matter how pious you are.
Wow.
And I really like that because it's about being a good person rather than praying 5 times or fasting or doing that. So that's...
I was doing a bit of research into famous cats. And the Prophet Muhammad's cat, what was the cat called, do you know?
Isa or something.
I've got the name Muezza.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Muezza,
yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, Muezza, exactly.
Again, so 50 idioms.
Yeah.
So I thought, I think there's quite a few famous cats. And I was horrified as to how many real famous cats have achieved some degree of popularity compared to dogs or gerbils or whatever. There aren't that many that you can think of. I
mean, I think dogs made it as well. Dogs and cats, I think, always compete for number 1 in everything.
Maybe. So alongside Muezza, the apocryphal cat of Muhammad, there's Nedjem or Nodjem, the cat of Puimre, the second priest of Amun, Egyptian. Ta Miao. Interesting name. I think it's Meow or Mew. Tao Miao, the cat of Crown Prince Thutmose, who was famous because buried in a sarcophagus in the prince's own tomb.
Wow.
So the cat was actually given similar burial to the cat's owner. And then Pangu Ban, an old Irish cat.
Oh, I heard of that one when I was doing the research.
Otherwise unknown Irish monk.
Yeah.
Who wrote a famous poem in the 8th century cataloguing the similarities between the cat's character and his own. And then they're all... I'm not going to read them all because I'll be there all day, but if I do some of them, like... do you know the name of the only cat that was ever launched into space?
No.
Felicette.
Felicette, okay.
Felicette, launched by it would have to be the French, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The launch of cat. Launched by the French centre, Kerma, Felicette was launched into space on the 18th of October 1963. She was recovered alive after a 15-minute flight and a descent by parachute. I just have this image of a little cat with a parachute. But I don't think it was the cat that had the parachute. I think it was the capsule.
A human.
And I was wondering, would this space capsule have a cat flap in it? Just in case. Well, I mean, what? I mean, if you had a litter tray...
Yeah.
And into zero gravity, it would go all over the place, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes.
It would be floating.
Yeah.
Felicette had electrodes implanted into her brain, and the recorded neural impulses were transmitted back to Earth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Tuxedo Stan, a Canadian cat, ran for mayor of Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Okay.
Yeah. Oscar is a famous cat in Jersey. Who was the first cat to be fitted with bionic hind limbs. Did you know that?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Jacinda Ardern, New Zealand's first cat, a polydactyl cat that belonged to Jacinda Ardern, was called Paddles.
Okay.
And there's just loads and loads. And most embarrassingly, the longest list applies to famous cats in the United Kingdom.
Yeah?
I think it's a British thing, isn't it, to have famous cats?
Kitty cats, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, they're
All
cute.
of the British Cabinet Office, at any one time, the name of the chief mouser in the British Cabinet Office is published. So the last 7 have been Freya, Humphrey, Larry, Peter and Pater, Sybil and Wilberforce.
Yeah.
And they look after the
I
mice.
salute them.
Yeah,
I
really.
salute them for doing that dirty job for us. This reminds me of, have you heard of cat islands in Japan?
The thought is just making me start to
It makes you want to
now.
go there.
Tell me about cat islands, and then I'll tell you about what I think cat islands are about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So apparently back in the day when these islands and villages in Japan used to make silk, they had a rat or mouse problem, and so they needed a lot of these cats to come and protect the silk from. So that was the main reason why they had them, and they still have them. And so there are these very famous islands where there are very few people living on them, and the cats outnumber them by 4 to 5 to 6 times.
Sounds horrific.
And they take care of them, and they revere them, and they treat them very well. There was one article where a tourist tried to play too aggressively with the cat. The shop owner came from inside and she was like, "That's enough playing with the cat now. Leave her alone. She needs her space."
Wow. I must admit, when you go somewhere overseas on holiday and there's lots and lots of feral cats, I don't like it.
Much better than stray dogs.
That's true. I don't like stray dogs either.
Exactly.
Stray dogs are probably even
They're
more
scary,
dangerous.
yeah.
But when this scraggy little cat comes up to you and starts rubbing itself on your leg and you think, what am I going to catch here? This is...
I don't love it, but I don't hate it. So when I went to Egypt last year, I went to this hotel that was very hippie kind of. It wasn't really a hotel. It was just a big house with rooms with balconies and stuff. There were cats everywhere. And in that one place, I think I saw 30 cats or more. And cat cafes are now very popular. You can go to a cafe and order something and play with cats, and they'll be all over you.
Yeah.
These are also really popular.
Well, when you were describing sort of the therapeutic benefits of having a cat, I don't know whether you also saw any research, but there are therapy cats, and in the same way as dogs are used as a
seeing dogs or as a therapy stress reliever. Yeah.
Could you imagine if you were blind having a guide cat? Just imagine where you'd end up.
It'll leave you and run off.
Could you imagine? Meow, see you later. Leaving you in the middle of nowhere, never coming back. You would be completely done. But no, apparently for some old people, obviously, nice for them to have a cat to have as
a bit of company.
But also with children with sort of special needs,
autism or something,
or
I think
ADHD. It's a very, very calming
very useful
thing. So, but I think that's probably generally the case for any animals, really. I think it's probably easier for those people to identify or to get along with an animal than it is with
human beings. Exactly, because they're not as demanding and they don't need anything from you. They just want to be there with you. Cats included, I promise.
Which country do you think has got a real cat problem right now? Let's say it's declared war.
Really? On cats?
Yeah.
It's not Turkey, is it?
No, I don't think they've declared war on
cats, because I think they also have a huge problem with stray cat, not cats and dogs. So who? Which country?
Australia.
Australia.
Yeah.
They always have issues with like too many kangaroos, too many frogs, too many.
Yeah, the government is looking at policy changes to rein in the number of domestic cats because of the damage caused by both domestic cats and feral cats to the Australia's environment.
Like the birds and stuff?
Yeah.
I think mostly
invasive
birds.
species are the biggest drivers of biodiversity loss in Australia, and cats are the most invasive in the country's landscape, killing an estimated... How many animals in Australia do you think were killed by cats last year?
1 million?
2 billion.
Oh.
2 billion.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
crazy, isn't it?
Yes, that's a lot.
So yeah, and you talked about island cats. So the issue for Australia is that, for example, Christmas Island, an Australian territory northwest of the mainland, has imposed a ban on bringing any more cats onto the island. And anybody living on the island who does have a cat has to sterilise the animal. Measures which the authorities are hoping are causing the island's population of cats eventually to die out.
Okay.
Because it's having such a detrimental effect on the environment of Christmas Island.
And also how many animals we have to kill to feed these cats, you know, all of the food that we give them.
Yeah.
I just hope that all of the food that we give the cats in pouches and stuff is just the rest of what humans eat. You know, whatever is not fit for human consumption. I hope we're not killing fresh animals just for the cats.
I think it depends. Again, from my reading, the lot of these luxury cat brands now, it is top quality steak or fish being used because people are willing to pay the large amount more for that privilege. Yeah. Do you have another poem?
I've got 2 poems for you.
Yeah.
So one, I cheated a little bit and there was this poem that I loved, I always liked. It was actually introduced to me by our friend, the German teacher, and she loves it and she knew that I would like it, so she read it to me. So it's written by Rainer Maria Rilke. We read a poem by him before, and this one's called The Panther. So it's a bit of cheating because this is a wildcat.
A cheetah. See what you did there. Hold on.
So this one is called The Panther by Rainer Maria Rilke. His vision from the constantly passing bars has grown so weary that it cannot hold anything else. It seems to him there are 1,000 bars, and behind the bars, no world. As he paces in cramped circles, over and over, the movement of his powerful, soft strides is like a ritual dance around a center in which a mighty will stands paralyzed. Only at times, the curtain of the pupils lifts quietly. An image enters in, rushes down through the tensed, arrested muscles, plunges into the heart, and is gone.
Gosh, very strong imagery. I mean, in a way, I can't show the same disdain towards a panther as I do to the domestic cat. They're beautiful animals, and it's one of the things that I love going to the zoo. It's great. It's very educational. It's great to take children for them to actually see animals firsthand
before they go extinct.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I also hate it.
Yeah.
To see an animal like a panther
so majestic,
that is meant to be in the open, running at vast speeds, or reclining in the sun, or whatever it chooses to do, but that image of an animal pacing backwards and forwards, just treading the same path over and over again. Yeah. It's the same feeling I get actually when I look at the poor gerbils in the cage that I have. Yeah. And I think to myself, why do we have these?
I hope no panther hears you comparing them to gerbils.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But look, this idea in the
beautiful
poem
animals.
about this this image, this kind of hint of what they could have been,
Yes,
the greatness,
yes.
and that it's passing very quickly. It's just very sad to me because like,
And
you
you
can transfer
could
that to
use that
humans.
as an analogy, to humans
Exactly.
and to our own potential. How
Exactly.
many of us in our lives are pacing in cramped circles over and over?
Yeah,
like a
exactly,
ritual
unable to
dance
escape.
around our centre in which our mighty will is standing paralysed. It's such a good,
It's a
good
very
image. Works in many, many ways, doesn't it?
yeah, it's a classic poem in German.
How do you
Austrian.
feel about this tendency, particularly of the wealthy, or maybe it's a certain culture, to actually have these wild cats as their domestic pets?
Lions and cheetahs. I don't get it, and I
Did you watch the documentary Lion?
Yes.
Is it a documentary?
yeah,
The Lion King?
docu-series, yeah, the Lion King, not Lion King. What was it called?
Yeah, it was Lion. Was it Lion King?
No,
The
something
Lion,
else.
The Lion.
Yeah,
Tiger
but-
King.
Tiger King,
Tiger
exactly.
King,
Yes,
sorry.
I
Sorry, Lion King. Sorry, Elton or
Yeah,
whoever it was who wrote that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I found it really appalling because of course you're not housing these tigers because you love them. You just want to make a lot of money from them, and
Yeah,
you're not treating them
yeah.
well. It was shocking. I think that the whole world was shocked to watch this thing. But I know
But it was vastly entertaining.
it was very entertaining. Just to know that people like that
Yeah.
exist in the world was very, very entertaining. Have you got something to read, or can I finish with another poem?
Well, I wanted to say there were a couple of things I wanted to talk about. One was specifically about the black cat.
Yes.
Because I don't know whether you have the same
Yes.
superstitions in your culture as certainly in the British
West, yeah.
culture. The black cat has a lot of folklore linked to the black cat around magic and sorcery, and cats were claimed to be familiars, that is, supernatural beings that assist witches. And so, little women who lived in cottages with a
black cat.
broomstick and a black cat
yeah.
were definitely going to be a witch. Black cats, by the Middle Ages, because of the fear about evil cults around Europe, including Germany, the black cat was very much frowned upon. Do you know why the black cat was seen by the Catholic Church to be
Ungodly.
ungodly? Yeah.
I mean, to me, the
Spoiler alert! By the way, hold on to your hats for this, guys.
No, to me, it's only because of the contrast between their colour and the colour of their eyes. That's the thing that freaks me out.
Yeah, I thought that it was just because they look kind of a bit spooky or supernatural. Well, no. Apparently, according to the official document titled "Vox in Rama" from the Catholic Vox in Rama from the Catholic Church in 1233, that there was an initiation ceremony for novices into a witch's coven, which included paying homage to a black cat, and if you kissed the black cat's bottom hole, I said sorry before, then this was a fundamental step that led to the emergence of the devil,
Oh my goodness.
whose lower body was cat-like and covered in black cat-like fur.
Oh goodness.
So whatever you do, even by accident, don't kiss your cat's bottom hole, because you'll summon the
demon.
Yes.
Oh my God.
They
I
were
love
a
that.
vessel of the devil.
Ugh.
Yeah. And then the killing of black cats, believed to have the power to break spells. Yeah.
That's so terrible.
All over Europe. In France, black cats were burned alive to rid an area of evil. While in Belgium, this tells you something about the Belgian psyche, cats were hurled from the belfry of local churches and then set on fire during the Festival of Cats. The festival is still present today,
Oh goodness me.
but they now use stuffed cats.
Okay, good.
I mean, if you're going to do it, do it properly, for goodness sake. Stuffed cats, honestly. So by the 1300s, for some strange reason, Europe's cat population significantly decreased. But the bubonic plague followed the black cats into the Middle Ages. So you remember the bubonic plague killed millions of people,
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people around Europe. And part of the blame for that was the fact that the cat population of Europe was massacred because of its links to the devil.
Exactly.
Therefore, there were no cats to prevent the rapid spread of the rat
Rats.
population,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
therefore the bubonic plague. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I was fascinated. Yeah.
Oh, poor cats.
Yeah.
They're here to help us and we get rid of them.
Well, they're not here to help us. They like eating rats.
I don't think they do. I
And,
think some
yeah.
cats are actually scared of rats.
Yeah.
It tells you just how vile those creatures are.
Even as kittens, black-coated kittens, according to the National Library of Medicine, they are the last and least likely to be adopted compared to all other kittens. Black cats have the highest rate of euthanasia, at rate of 74.6.
I feel bad now, but I mean, I am spooked by black cats, I must admit.
Yeah.
It's because their eyes are so, but in contrast with the fur, the eyes are so piercing and they're really scary to me.
Yeah. I actually, maybe it's something about my psyche, but I like black cats most.
I think that says a lot about you.
Yeah.
And it's to be expected.
I'm looking for a cat bumhole to kiss. Might have to edit that out, Rama.
Yes, do it.
Yeah. So
right.
that's interesting. So I've got a good poem by Margaret Atwood, which I didn't expect her to be writing poetry about cats. But I like this poem because it showed the sort of mundanity of life, and when you have a cat, they become sort of part of it and part of your routine. And I like the imagery in it, and I don't, from what she says, I don't think she's massively a cat fan.
No.
Maybe a bit of both.
Let's see.
But anyway, it's called February. Winter, time to eat fat and watch hockey. In the pewter mornings, the cat, a black fur sausage with yellow Houdini eyes, jumps up on the bed and tries to get onto my head. It's his way of telling whether or not I'm dead. If I'm not, he wants to be scratched. If I am, he'll think of something. He settles on my chest, breathing his breath of burped-up meat and musty sofas, purring like a washboard. Some other tomcat, not yet a capon, has been spraying our front door, declaring war. It's all about sex and territory, which are what will finish us off in the long run. Some cat owners around here should snip a few testicles. If we wise hominids were sensible, we'd do that too. Or eat our young, like sharks. But it's love that does us in. Over and over again. He shoots, he scores. And famine crouches in the bedsheets, ambushing the pulsing eiderdown, and the wind chill factor hits 30 below, and pollution pours out of our chimneys to keep us warm. February, month of despair, with a skewered heart in the centre. I think dire thoughts, and lust for French fries with a splash of vinegar. Cat, enough of your greedy whining and your small pink bumhole. Off my face. You're the life principle, more or less, so get going on a little optimism around here. Get rid of death. Celebrate increase. Make it be spring.
Bravo.
Yeah, there's so many good bits in there.
This is really good. I didn't think that the person who wrote The Handmaid's Tale could write something so cheeky and so sweet like that.
It's good. And there's a little bit about how we in ourselves, we are not that dissimilar to cats.
No. Yeah, no, we are very... I think that's why we love them.
Yeah.
Also, that's why cat videos are so popular. People love cat videos, and they overtook the internet, literally.
Yeah.
It's all because...
How do you think this makes me feel, Rama, that my really, really good maths videos on YouTube, maybe...
barely get any watches.
Maybe I've got 150 to 200 subscribers at most. And then somebody posts a video of a cat playing the piano.
I know.
And that gets like 45 million views.
Apparently, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because cat videos relieve stress, and I'm sure your videos induce stress.
Well,
Well, maths, I'm sorry, it hasn't, it stands no chance.
Possibly true.
Yeah.
Possibly true. Did you know that the Bible doesn't feature the cat at all? Which historically doesn't make sense because cats were very, very familiar to the population at that point. Cats were very familiar to the ancient Egyptians, Assyrians, Babylonians, ancient Greeks and Romans, even before the conquest of Egypt. So they were therefore very familiar to the ancient Hebrew population. And other members of the cat family, like lions, leopards, possibly tigers, are mentioned and are called wildcats in the Bible. But the domestic cat only appears once in the Bible. So in the Psalms, it says, they wear pride like a jeweled necklace and clothe themselves with cruelty. These fat cats have everything their hearts could ever wish for. They scoff and speak only evil. In their pride, they seek to crush others. So any theories on why there are no mentions of cats? I mean, there's mentions of everything else.
And also, like, the one mention that a cat gets is a negative one. It's like likening horrible people to cats.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, actually.
So my reading sort of implied that it was because of the links between cats and the cult.
Okay.
Or the occult, or the worship of
The
cats,
devil.
the cats, the devil, whatever, in those ancient times.
Do you think that it was related to the worship of the devil?
They didn't want to... it kind of doesn't make sense because, all of God's creatures are being glorified.
Yeah.
Apart from the cat.
Yeah, interesting.
But there you go. Yeah.
So,
yes. So are we there? Have we done the cat's whiskers?
I think we have. But there is one last poem. I think I'd read it to you, not because it's great, but because it's very interesting. So let's see. Let's see what you think, because I'm really curious about this one.
Okay.
So
kept me in suspense right till the end.
Yes, and then I'm going to... So focus, and everybody who's listening, focus.
Yeah.
Because I would like you to guess in whose style this is written.
Okay.
Like, who wrote this.
Yeah.
So, Layla's Enchantment. In Layla's morning purrs, a tune so fine, I rise with dawn, our joys entwined. A whisper of the soul, a gentle cheer. In Layla's bliss, all shadows clear. When she retreats to shadows deep, my spirit dims and goes to weep. The room grows silent in clouded skies. Her dismay's veil enshrines my sighs. The times when Layla prances, full of grace, my heart is vast, a boundless space. Her taunting steps haunt the room's air. Her joy a candle that guides and cares. Yet if her mood should shift, a stormy sign, my heart's mess like a ball of twine. The world turns cold, a somber grey, till a forgiving meow restores the day. Her eyes so bright guide paths unknown, in their gaze my soul is thrown. Her moods, a mystic tether, jostle my heart. Will she hiss or will she scratch? She bares her belly, I caress my soul. In her surrender my worries go. But then her ears pricked, she frowns her face. She just trots off, end of embrace. She curls up on my bed, I hope, I pray, that with the dawn her joy will stay. As her chest rises and falls, I see in Layla's light a hope for me. Who do you think wrote this? Somebody... does it remind you of somebody's style?
I'm going to make two guesses here.
Go on.
It's contemporary, right?
Yes.
It's not a very old poem.
No.
Did you write it? I know. I've got an idea. Was it artificial intelligence?
Yes, it was.
Wow. Now that is really interesting.
But I did change a lot of it.
Yeah.
And also I gave it a very specific prompt.
Yeah.
So I worked really hard on this last night.
Yeah.
But it was written by, ChatGPT.
That's really interesting. Because I quite like it. I quite like it. But it's missing something.
Yeah, it's missing a bit of soul. It's too kind of like a child writing a poem, basically.
Which is kind of what what I'd expect
gave it away?
from AI. No, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Gosh.
I gave it a prompt, write a poem about a cat that is also kind of symbolizing the change of the moods of a loved woman, a beloved woman. And so it kind of gave me that. It wasn't nearly as good as this, so I changed a lot of it. I still don't like it very much, but I think it's impressive what AI can do these days.
That's amazing. Wow.
So,
very
well
good.
done, Mr. Bailey.
Well done indeed. So I feel like I got through that.
Mm-hmm. Finally, this is out of your system.
It's out of my
Let's
system.
hope we don't have to do one on rats. That would not be your revenge, would it?
Oh, I quite like. No, I don't. Actually, rats are up there as well. I don't like rats.
Okay, very good.
Had some bad experience.
Phew. Okay, good. Then,
Very good. Let's see if that one was. Because the last episode we did say we were going to try and do under an hour, and it ended up being more than an hour.
Let me tell you, we did not manage to do that this time.
No.
I think it's around an hour too, but we promise we're working on it.
We'll try. I might have to edit out quite a bit of this episode, actually. Yeah. All right. So we'll be back again next week for more.
We will.
Yeah.
We will. We look forward to it.
We'll see you then.
Thank you guys for listening.
Okay.
See you next time.
Yeah. Meow.
Bye.
Bye. We hope that you've enjoyed listening to the readings we chose for you today.
And that our musings have ignited your thoughts.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and those you think would enjoy it.
If you have any thoughts, suggestions, or any kind of feedback, please send us an email using the email in the show notes.
We'd love to hear from you with the words that make you.